Okay. I lay there, holding her close as she sleeps. Thoughts are swarming my mind and banging around in my skull. Thoughts of the past and future, all filled with guilt, anger, sorrow, and joy. Some thoughts are real, and some are made up. I want to take my fist and cave in my head, bash in my skull. I just want to make it stop. If it wasn't for her, I'd have killed everyone, or myself. Hell, maybe even both. Horrific images flash in my head. Some images come from movies, and some I've made up. I want to take a knife and carve it all out. I pull her closer.
I love you,
I whisper. She is what holds me together.
So, how do you feel about that?
I mean, like, I was really expecting worse. I'd put that on a very, like, generic, like, I'm in 7th grade and I just got my first girlfriend, like, poem. Like, I wouldn't say that's, like, book burning worthy.
Well, it's not book burning worthy, and it's certainly, in fact, I think you're really underselling the piece, because I really think it's actually very strong, it's very well written, and something I think is very interesting about that is how he displays such grand emotion. He just, like, digs it from his core and just lets it bleed onto the page. And yeah, it's a bit edgy, but great art is edgy. Great art makes you feel. And that's what it made me feel.
Right. I will agree with your statement. Great art does make you feel.
It's like a fucking book review.
But that does not make anyone feel. It was very much, a forced set of raw emotions, as you put them, with words like cave in my skull with my fist, which is one, physically impossible. And two, very messy.
Well, you're not very strong, so that could be part of the problem.
Correct. I am a twig, but
I mean, like,
can you do it? Let's see you try it. Bash in your own skull right now on camera for us.
I mean, I don't do with my fist.
Yes, with your fist. That is what the book specifically said.
Okay. I don't know if I want to try that. Seems a little.
See, exactly. You can't do it either. My point is proven.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try that.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's bullshit.
Well, but and it's not a completely literal sense. He's saying he feels like doing that. He's not saying he can do it, because we're not talking about the capability. We're talking about the deep feelings that he feels and the person who's able to hold them all together. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you're ignoring. You're merely dismissing this as some young kid who has an infatuation, but what this is really coming from is a deep place of love, a lighthouse, if you will,
yes,
and a sea of endless darkness and despair and insanity. She is the lighthouse that guides him.
But I want you to tell me, what do we know about this she? She's given no name. She's only addressed a singular time at the very end of the piece. So the real question is, do we know this person? Is this person
it's supposed
even
to come
real?
from the mind of the reader.
The question, though, that I'm proposing to you is, in this story, do you believe that this woman is real?
Yes.
You think this person in this book, who wishes to bash his own skull in with his own fists, is not a crazy man?
Well, maybe he's an artist. He could be misunderstood. But what you're not considering, Jared, is the fact that he is exaggerating his feelings so that he can put them in an interesting way. And you are taking the book way too literally, and I think that's where you're struggling.
May I see the piece again? I need to pull some excerpts from this piece. Okay. If it wasn't for her, I'd have killed everyone or myself. Hell, maybe even both.
Well,
What do you have to say about this line specifically, where our titular character in this piece, Headache, is proven to be a murderer.
Oh, no. He didn't say he
Yeah,
would
it
kill.
says very specifically, if it wasn't for her,
But
I'd
he's
kill
not a
everyone.
murderer. He's not saying that he would for a
He's
fact.
very clearly saying, it says I'd have, not I could, I'd have. She is his ball and chain, keeping him from going on a genocidal rampage. He specifically says everyone or myself. Or both.
Hell, maybe even
Maybe
both.
even both. Exactly.
But I think it's supposed to show the tragedy that he feels on the inside and what it could drive him to, and how a person is able to completely clear it up
Or
and
how
keep
about
him
this
weighted
part-
in the real world.
How about this part in the piece where he murders her? Where he says,
what?
I want to take a knife and carve it all out. I pull her closer, indicating that the knife and what he is carving out is her.
Oh, okay.
He pulls her closer to carve... No, it's my piece. You
Okay.
can't- No.
It's, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to say that maybe it's just like a completely misunderstood context, because maybe he just, you know, wrote that poorly.
Yes, maybe.
Because I don't think it would make much sense, and it does actually say afterwards, she is what holds me together.
Yeah, as he
So why would
carves her
she
out.
kill her?
You know, you see, he doesn't want to be held together. As a man who'd have killed everyone and himself, he obviously doesn't wish to be bound by this woman.
But
So
he loves her.
Yes. But that's beside the point. We don't need to be bringing Hitler parallels into this book.
You always do.
I do. Correct. Here he says specifically, some thoughts are real and some are made up. Once again, proving...
He's a person who struggles with an active imagination. What is that? Is that a crime?
It's not a crime.
Yeah,
But
it's what you're making it seem like.
when you confess to having killed everyone and himself, and then his lover, those made-up emotions might be his lover. Maybe he killed her. Maybe it's his mom. Do you ever think maybe it's his mom?
Why would he be cuddling with his mother?
Because he's a weird Bates Motel sicko.
I mean, like, I guess that could possibly be a case, but how do you know that you're just exaggerating all those details? And maybe it's just an honest...
Some images come from movies, and some I have made up. Now, what does this tell us about this youth? He's a fan of popular media. And what does popular media do? It shows our children of today violence. And it proves to them...
So did old media.
Incorrect.
But it did.
King Kong was not
That
real.
was violent.
Yes, but is there a real gorilla out there right now on Trump Tower? I do not think so.
Maybe.
We do not also have biplanes anymore. Those...
But there could be a gorilla on top of Trump Tower right now, just wrecking planes.
You're right. His name is Donald Trump, but that is beside the point. Now, from movies, what kind of movies do you think? Like, you obviously seem to very believe that this character is very, fleshed out, passionate, very relatable. What kind of movies do you think this man would enjoy?
I don't know. I mean, nothing too unusual. Something like I don't know, snuff films.
See,
Maybe some horror movies.
You've proved my point right there.
Ooh.
This man, this
like that idea.
this suicidal serial killer, watches horror movies. And you know what happens in horror movies?
People fall in love.
Incorrect.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And then
At the beginning of the movies.
Yeah, and then they get, speared through the dick by Jason.
I don't know if through the dick is the proper
What I'm saying
term.
is, the piece is utter trite. It sounds like something a 6th grader would write.
You said 7th grader before. You contradicted yourself.
I'm not contradicting myself. The more I've thought about the piece, I've given it a little downgrade. But what I'm saying is, this really sounds like something some kid would turn into his English teacher in hopes that his teacher would be like, man, this kid's really grown up. But no, it's bullshit.
Well, I'm going to close my statement by saying I think you're, I don't know, I think you're a bit stupid. I think your argument was stupid.
Wow.
And I think you're not taking into consideration the true passion of his human spirit. And that, to me, is not the tragedy that lies in that. The real tragedy is the guilt and the judgment that you bestow upon him.
Human passion leads people to many bizarre things. Like perhaps killing everyone, including your lover.
That's not too bad.
And yourself.
I've done worse.
Have you done worse?
Thought about it.
That's not doing, that's thought.
Yeah, but I think... Have you ever heard of the Call of the Void, Jared?
No. What kind of weird mumbo-jumbo black magic are you about to tutor me in?
The Call of the Void is a psychological phenomena in which perfectly healthy people will have the urge to do something as silly as kill themselves. Like an old person will be driving down the road, and then they suddenly, on the oncoming lane, they see a bus and they'll just have the thought in their mind, what would happen if I just went and, just traumatized a bunch of children for life, just right then and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and other times it may drive off a cliff. Sometimes it involves driving. But the point is that it's perfectly normal to have thoughts of self-destruction or destructive thoughts towards others.
You know what else is
And
perfectly
it's all part of
normal?
what makes us human. What?
Spontaneous human combustion.
That's not a thing.
There's been
The Call of the Void is a bona fide thing. I'd appreciate if you left out your spontaneous combustion
spontaneous
mumbo-jumbo.
human combustion is a very real phenomena. Hundreds of victims. Check the X-Files, Scully. Whore.